Hey folks, it's your man Manny, and I'm here with Louie, and I wanted to talk about something which is like a relationship concept or a relationship topic of like just telling the dog to do something and making them do it. So when I was a little kid, like I grew up, my grandparents used to watch me sometimes, and my grandpa, I don't know what exactly was going on, but he'd always want to wipe our face with a face cloth. Before my mom showed up, he wanted us to not have crumbs and stuff all over our face. My grandma would give us sweets and stuff. And so that's what happened. He would want our face clean, okay? And so he'd go, come over here, kids. And then he'd get this face cloth and he'd just start grinding your face. And we all remember this, me and my cousins, we'd talk about this. Man, remember when Grandpa would just get that face cloth and just grind your face with it to wipe off all that stuff on your face? And, maybe there wasn't much time. Maybe Mom was coming quickly. I don't know. We'll never know. Grandpa's not here with us anymore. But I do remember that very clearly. Grandpa just going, hey, this is what's happening. I'm wiping your face down, and that's what's going on. And was it uncomfortable for a minute? It was uncomfortable for a minute. Did it ever make me cry or, hurt me? No, not at all. But there was an uncomfortable moment of Grandpa saying, hey, I'm going to do this. It's not going to be comfortable, but that's just what's going to happen. That's just reality. I'm going to do something to you, and you're going to have to accept it. And so whether, we have a dog that's struggling with reactivity or separation anxiety, or maybe just basic obedience. Maybe we're just trying to raise a dog my own dog, Emaniti, that I can take everywhere, I can leave anywhere. Emma's just so easy. She's like a self-driving Tesla. It's so important that we understand this concept of just telling the dog to do something, or just not necessarily asking them or saying do this, but more you are going to do this. This is what's going to happen. And the more we can introduce a dog to this concept when they're young, and hold their paws, start trimming their nails, or, we have to restrain them, or we have to wipe their feet down, and we just go, I'm going to wipe your feet down. That's what's going to happen. I know it's not going to be comfortable, but you don't really have a choice. The more we teach the dog that when they're young, the more they're going to trust us, and they're going to understand if we make them do something, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's not a big deal. Or if someone else, for example, like the vet, or the groomer has to make them do something, they're going to go, I understand. Sometimes you just have to do what you're told. It doesn't necessarily make sense to you. It doesn't necessarily feel good. But this being who's doing it to you loves you and cares about you. And that's why they're doing it. And that's why you're going to listen and you're going to do what they're telling you to do. And so, when you're telling a dog to do something, I think this is why we so often start repeating commands. Or we start tugging on the leash excessively. Saying the dog's name over and over again, saying no 100 times. All these ways we're trying to manage this behavior, rather than just be clear with the dog, hey, you're going to do this. That's what's going to happen. So remember, folks, as always, we don't blame them, we train them. And so if your dog you're saying is stubborn, don't blame them, and say they're stubborn. Instead, train them and help them understand. Sometimes you physically don't understand the way I want you to move. It's uncomfortable to you, but you're going to do it anyways. And that's because I love you. And afterwards, you'll see everything will be fine. And the reason I'm talking about this video is this is one of those breeds and one of those dogs that if you're not very clear on some level, hey, I'm the boss and you're the employee. I got my employee down there, Alondra. I say to Alondra, hey, Alondra, go open the gate. Yeah, sure. Usually I say, hey, Alondra, can you open the gate? But the reality is, folks, I'm not asking Alondra to open the gate. I'm telling her to open the gate. I'm the boss. She's the employee. Doesn't mean I don't love Alondra. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate Alondra. But if there was an emergency at some point or an urgent thing, and I said, Alondra, get the gate, immediately she would go, oh, yeah, I know how to do what he tells me to do. He said to do this. That's what I'm going to do right now. And believe it or not, folks, the more we do this with our dog, not only is our dog going to trust us more, they're going to have less anxiety. They're going to have more of an ability to stop overthinking what are they supposed to do. And they're going to understand, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do. And hey, let me check out my environment and let me think about things. What do you think about Louie? But what was happening with Louie is they're trying to push him into a down or force him into a down essentially with the prong collar. And he's like, no, Louie doesn't do what Louie doesn't want to do. And I'm not saying you need to force the dog with the prong collar. I'm not saying that's the solution. There's many different ways to introduce the prong collar in a way that tells the dog, hey, you don't really have a choice. You have to do this. But what I am saying is the more clear you are, hey, man, I'm telling you to do that, you're going to do it, period, the more a lot of these things are going to be easier for both you and your dog. So remember, as always, we don't blame them. We train them. And if you got a dog like Louie, you know, and you're training him, realize that's a very lucky dog. Hey, how you doing? But realize a dog like this is very smart. And dogs that are very smart, they will cry, they will whine, they will do all sorts of behaviors to get out of that simple fact that you're telling me what to do and I don't want to do it. And, you know, you'll be telling me, oh, they don't want to lay down because of the rocks. They don't want to lay down because it's cold. Oh, there's a dog over there. That's why they're not going to do it. But the reality is they're not going to do it because they don't understand who the boss is, and that when you're telling them to do something, you're not giving them a choice. You're just making them do it. Okay, we'll see you then, folks. Take care.